So one of the few things I've been doing, I've started listening to Eddie Izzard's autobiography called Believe Me.
Ooh, cool.
So it's been a whole week of starting things that I haven't actually finished yet. So you're just going to get a half-assed Nexus, I'm afraid. But yeah, it's... Before I carry on, I did look up her preferred pronouns, and she prefers she, her. And if I get it wrong, it's purely a slip of the tongue. I don't mean any offense by it.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's her autobiography. I think it came out within the last couple of years, and it's really, really interesting because she narrates it as well. And it's funny to listen to what kind of crazy tangents she goes off on as she speaks. So she's written the book.
Mm-hmm.
But while she's narrating, she'll actually go into sort of more detail. So what she says is it's an accompaniment to, I think she must have done a live show as well, which I haven't seen yet.
There's a new one on at the moment.
It. Yeah, so it's probably the same thing. So this is the accompaniment to that. Yeah, it's a really nice insight to how her mind works. As I said, she goes off on the tangents, but at the same time, you can almost kind of tell that as she's been putting pen to paper or whatever you want to call it with an audio, but she's kind of figuring things out about herself, and she'll kind of mention it as she goes along. It's been a really good listen. It's obviously, like I said, quite a cathartic experience for her. What I found interesting was she doesn't really go much into being transgender. So the point of the book I'm at the moment, she's still talking about her young life, and she sort of says, that those feelings were always there, but there wasn't, or she certainly hasn't gone into any particular moment where she thought, right, this is me, transgender kind of thing. It's almost like she talks about it as if it's just no big deal, which is quite, it's nice because I sort of feel like I wouldn't feel awkward to ask about it. Like, you sort of want to ask questions about how they feel about certain things without causing any offense.
When I got introduced to his comedy and saw live at the Ambassadors, I think it was. It was his first show, and there was another one after that. I forgot the name of it now. But I did originally think it was really odd seeing her dressed, depending on what they chose for the outfit for the show at first. And then you just forget about it, and it just isn't a thing anymore. You just switch off and enjoy the personality, the comedy and everything. And you're quite right, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I thought it was brave that they did that in the first place, but yeah. I'm probably not the first. I can tell you who the first one was. But.
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed her comedy anyway. Like, it's just so bizarre, and you can see so much of it is kind of off the cuff as well. And it's just like she talks about she's dyslexic, but only sort of in certain ways. So she has like 50% of typical dyslexicness. So she doesn't feel like, she sort of feels like a bit of a fraud being dyslexic as well. But it's obviously completely apparent in the way she writes things and talks about things, and then just absolutely goes off on one. And I listen to audiobooks when I go to bed, and I normally kind of drift off, but I have been staying awake and actually managing to listen to some of it. And I think it's like every 5 minutes I will be just pissing myself laughing. And it's not a funny book. It's an autobiography of their life. And it's really quite sad as well, because she lost her mum so young, and goes into quite a bit of detail with that. But it is just, it's funny as well, the way they sort of narrate their own life. So that's been really enjoyable. As I said, I haven't finished that yet, but it's been good so far.
The thing about his shows is not only do they loop around a little bit sometimes on the actual show, but they're also throwbacks to previous shows and his later shows with certain characters or jokes, and it's brilliantly done. Brilliantly done.
I always find comedians never turn off how they talk or how they construct sentences, so you're getting an amazing level of insight that's still delivered in an entertaining way, even if they don't intend to do it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's obviously like completely natural, just a very sort of different way of thinking, I think. And she even goes on to sort of mention that, like I said, she kind of makes notes and has sort of footnotes as she's speaking. But she said, actually, I was analysing things at a really young age. I must have been about 4 at that time, when, obviously having these quite complex thoughts about her life. But yeah, really good.